brain also starts functioning in different ways.
Oh yeah.
And that also comes into like people being left brain, right brain, the psychology part of it. So it's basically the ability for a brain to create new synapses and new connections.
Exactly. A lot of people thought that the brain was static by age 25. You're like, I'm done, right? This is the intelligence I have. This is the flexibility I have. I'm set. But what they have found with more and more research is that the brain has an incredible capacity to adapt, to grow, right? And it all starts with your thoughts. So if every day you're thinking like, why am I so lazy? Why am I not motivated? Why am I such a loser? Those things are literally creating strands in your brain. And every single time you think that, it's becoming thicker and thicker and thicker. And it becomes like a trunk. Now, those trunks are transferring not only thoughts, but emotions, right? So it's much easier to be in that emotion if you have kind of built that up during time. Exactly the other way with success. If every day you're thinking like, I love this day, why is this day so beautiful, right? I'm gonna accomplish so much today. Like why, like even when you're having a problem, like Tony Robbins says this, let's say you're having a bad day or something's going wrong, you ask yourself, why is this not perfect yet? Or what is not perfect yet? Right? You always reframe it into a positive thing.
At a board meeting.
Yeah?
Yeah, at a board meeting.
Alright, that's right. Thank you for coming, buddy.
Absolutely.
Good luck. So a couple things, a couple caveats before we dive deeply into what it takes to live in this kind of life. I'm going to say it's not easy. Right? It's not easy. That's first thing. But it's not hard. It takes time, and number one thing is to fall in love with the process. Fall in love with it. Right? I wake up every morning at 5:55. First thing I do is I take a cold ass shower. Right? I dare you guys. Wake up tomorrow, take a cold shower. Like, just put it all cold. Take a cold shower in the morning with this 28 weather outside. You will freeze your balls outside. You will, oh my God. But after 2 minutes, your body's used to it. You're like, okay, sweet. Right? What do I do after that? I meditate. Get my nice, even keeled, relaxed. What do I do after that? I go to the gym. I do that every day, in and out, in and out, in and out. How do you think that makes me feel? I feel good, I feel energetic. Right? I woke up today at 5:55. Right now I'm like, poof, I'm on fire. Right? Especially because I love speaking and I just love talking about these things. I'm very passionate about it. I fall in love with the process, fall in love with it. Look at that shower, be like, you motherfucker. I love you. One of my biggest mentors, he is 34 years old right now. He created a company that teaches guys how to relate better to women, right? There's a lot of guys, a lot of guys don't like to accept this, but a lot of guys, don't know how to interact with the opposite sex, right? This guy was a nerd who had no idea how to do that, just because he was not around girls or he had bad, personal experiences, and he went from sleeping on the floor of abandoned buildings, because that's where he gave some seminars for free, to creating a $20 million company revenue a year. And it actually is one of the 5,000 biggest companies, 5,000 fastest growing companies. It's called the Inc. 5,000. Have you heard of Tyler Durden? No? Owen Cook? What he said is, success and failure does not happen in the moment. Everything is bleeding into everything else. The bad decisions that you make today will have a ripple effect that could last for weeks or months. Start thinking of your life. Everything is a butterfly effect. Have you guys seen that movie? Butterfly Effect? What exactly happens in that movie?
I haven't seen it in years.
It's like Ashton Kutcher, right?
Yeah.
He does something and then I don't know, across the world something happens, which actually happens every day. Somewhat extreme examples, but not to be underestimated. These are real life things. A guy has too much to drink one night. Gets pulled over, DUI, 75 years on the record. Goes to jail, loses his job, is dumped by the girlfriend. Miserable. Spends, 2 months in jail because he almost kills a cop, right? All after a night of partying. What do you think that does in a six month outlook, in a 1 year outlook, right? When he leaves jail with, I don't know, Perhaps I heard this guy got like attempted manslaughter because he's going against the cop. He's about to kill him, right? How do you think that looks on his record when he goes to apply for a job at Publix? It's something simple. One night, one too many drinks, one too many fireballs, one too many Y-bombs, right? Shy guy never learns how to talk to people, lives a lonely life and a poor life. Think about a socially awkward guy. He grew up in a tough neighborhood. His parents didn't like him. His parents hit him, right? He did not have a lot of affection when he was young. So he's afraid to talk to people. Now, because he never overcomes that fear, what happens? If you don't relate to people, people are what moves this world, right? Business, people are business. What I was telling him, I'm trying to make the sale, but I'm not even listening to you because I'm so caught up in my head of what's going on. Like, why is the sale not working? Instead of being like, what do you need? How could I serve you? Right? Lives a lonely and poor life. A little dramatic, I know. Let's cheer up a little bit, right? Passionate player writes down vision at age 12. Becomes Heisman Trophy winner as a red shirt freshman. Who's that? Your boy Jameis. Did you guys see that? Did you guys ever see that on TV? They show like these pictures of him when he was writing down his goals when he was like 12 years old. And it's like, oh, I want to squat by next week, 245. A 12-year-old kid. Right? He was probably already like 6 feet by then. He's a beast. And the dedicated nerd who turns the inability to relate to women into a 5,000 company. Inc. 5,000 company. So start thinking that way. Success and failure does not happen right now. I do not fail right now. I don't have that job right now that I want, or I don't have that company right now, or I don't have the type of girl that I have in my life because I have not put in the work. You just do not deserve it yet, right? Something that I wanted to mention that Jesse said is, what is this? Okay, we have there's this thing called cognitive bias. What comes to your mind when I say cognitive bias? No? What's a bias? No?
Don't put me on the spot.
Bias? Okay.
It's being impartial to decisions.
Bias. It's
based
like,
upon your previous.
say that again?
It's being impartial to a certain decision based upon your previous experiences.
Exactly. Like you just think something is kind of like leaning one way or the other.
Right.
Correct? Kind of like that, right?
Similar, yeah.
I'm not giving the exact
No,
definition.
I'm not
yet.
either. I don't know either.
There's 25 cognitive biases in the human brain. I do not know all of them. I did not take the time to read the book yet. But a very famous book that I've heard about is called I think it's Charlie Munger. You probably heard of him. No?
I've heard of Charlie Munger. I don't know a book.
Yeah, I have no idea either. But he talks about 25 cognitive biases, and one of them is called the happy ending bias. In our brains, we think that if we just keep going the way that we're going, we're eventually going to make it. Right? We never sit down and realize that if life is tough right now, if our parents are not rich, if we don't have huge networking opportunities that can take us to $1 million deals, if we're not good looking enough to be like, David Beckham or have, just modeling career, like actor, you just have some natural talent that you're crazy at, and you want to reach a high level of life, you're going to have to go hard. Other than your 9-to-5 job, you're going to need to, wake up extra early, plan your day, meditate, relate to people well, always be feeling good inside of your own body. All these things that are going to excuse me. They're going to allow you to reach a very high level. You're going to have to do it on your extra time. Stop thinking of your life as a 9-to-5 thing. And what else do I have here that I wanted to comment on? Jesse. This guy, the one who talked about the success and failure does not happen in the moment. He says that he's got a thing called the upward spiral or the downward spiral. So he says that basically people are slowly going up. Slowly going up every day, right? Or you're most likely, slowly going down. Right? So when you see people on the street, 45, 50-year-old, what do they usually look like? just average walking.
Pessimistic,
What do you see in their eyes? Like, what are they doing?
going through the motions, tired,
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get
anxiety.
I don't want to get too dramatic, but I mean,
Yeah.
think of some of our parents. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know
100%.
if your parents, but I see a lot of people, co-workers that I work with. You know, these are 30-year-old people. They're young still, but you just look at them and they have this look in their eyes. They're just like jaded. They're tired. They're just waiting for the weekend to end to go watch some Game of Thrones. You know, there's nothing wrong with watching TV, but I'm just saying is like they hate their day-to-day life so much that they have to reach to that weekend to just let go, right? And they see no exit. They just see themselves stuck, and they have no idea. So getting this information in your brain at this age, I think it's very valuable. How to be uber successful in 2 extremely simple and at the same time complex steps. Simple because you could all do it starting today. Complex because your brain will do every single thing possible to stop you from reaching your goals. So when Jesse says, you are your own worst enemy, it's not necessarily saying like you're like, fuck man, why? Why do you do that? You know, it's like your brain is hardwired to not have, you know, put a lot of effort, put a lot of work into stuff. It's just the way you're wired. So, average time spent watching TV by an American, 5 hours on a daily basis. 5 hours. Think about if you used 2 of those hours to work in on a dream of yours for a year. What would happen? For 2 years, for 5 years, anything. If you dedicated 2 hours of your time to finding how to create music, 2 years of your time to buying Ben & Jerry's, you know, developing the master plan to do that. 2 years, I didn't hear what Gage said. What was your,
I didn't have a long-term action plan.
okay, well,
We
you
can
can
go through
dedicate 2 hours to figuring that out.
Yeah, there we go. 2 hours to figuring out my long-term plan.
Yeah, even 20 minutes, it could be anything. That's the poor person, right? What does the rich person do? He wakes up 2 to 3 hours before he goes to the job, he exercises, he meditates, he prays, he plans, right? He gets himself in such a nice emotional state that the rest of his day is just super successful, right? The people that he comes with, across with, they just receive his energy. They want to be around him. They want to do business deals with him. They want to be his friends. Why? Because he has put in some work into that. And step number 2 is manage and treat your thoughts and emotions like they are your closest friends, right? So many times we are not in control of our emotions because nobody has taught us how to do this. This should be a life skill that should be getting taught in college, in high school. How to regulate your emotions, right? How to manage them, how to relate to other people. These things are not taught in school, in family, nowhere. You just kind of like, you learn them or not, right? The poor person, he has no idea how to manage his emotions and lets external events control his or her feelings and self-image. You get 25 likes on your Instagram picture. Oh, I feel good, right? And I'm not saying this is bad. I do this quite often, right? Now, if it's controlling your emotions, right? If your picture got only 1 like, you're like, was it that lame? You know, nobody likes my status, right? But a lot of people just live by that. That's their Bible, you know, that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, so I was reading another Tony Robbins article last night, and this is something that I've kind of harped on for a while. But if you like so in your example, a poor person would be someone who gets upset over things that they have no control over. And this is really ironic. I have a friend who is, I would consider, very dumb, like not a smart, intelligent person, right? And we're studying for a QMB test together during summer, and he's like,
QMB?
The QMB, it's like a business statistics class. I hate statistics, and I'm getting all worked up. I'm like really frustrated. I'm like, I don't get this. He's like, Jesse, you're such a smart kid. Like, why are you getting upset over something you have no control over? Like, we're going in to take this test in an hour. Like, you're either gonna do good or you're gonna do bad. But like, stop worrying about it, you know? And at that point, I became at peace with myself because I was like, I have no control over this, you know? I have no control over if it's hot or cold out today, if it's rainy out today. I have no control over if my teacher cancels class or not, or schedules homework or a test on this day. Like, if you don't have control over it, then there's no point in getting upset over it. So I've really learned to only get upset over the things that I do have control over, and let the things I don't have control over
Just let go.
move their course, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're going that way no matter if you get upset or not about it, so you might as well just let it ride and control the things you can
Yeah.
control, you know?
Yeah.
And so a stupid person taught me a good lesson, which was ironic.
There you go. Maybe you're thinking too much because you're too smart.
No, not that I consider myself smart or anything like that. I just like, you can learn something from anybody. I've learned things from homeless people, you know? I've learned things from people who you wouldn't expect to learn things from. So don't just shut yourself out to a person just because you may think, oh, they may be dumb, or oh, they don't understand my situation. Like, there's people that can give you insight on anything in the world, and that was a great little nugget of insight that he gave me. He's like, Jesse, stop being concerned about things that you have no control over. And
Stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
Just let go.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
I like that a lot. And that's why it's so huge to listen to people too, because we're always so caught up in our own needs, desires, and just wanting to tell you stuff that we don't stop to like pause and be like, wait, what are you saying? Like,
Yeah.
you're throwing like valuable tidbits of information at me. I could learn a lot.
Always.
Especially for sales. Okay, wow, this computer's gonna die real soon, so I'll just wrap it up real quickly with none other than Tony Robbins. Let me see. All right, guys, there we go. All right, cool. So that's Mr. Anthony Robbins, the most influential motivational speaker of the past 2 decades. If you guys don't know anything about him, you guys should definitely check him out. He is a legend. He is amazing. And I'm actually currently reading that book, Awaken the Giant Within. Just real quick, by age 20, he was poor. He was in a very terrible job. He was fat. Ends up becoming, people call him for... I think he gets paid like $10,000 an hour to get coach. It's ridiculous. He coaches, Bill Clinton, Andre Agassi, top LeBron, like Oprah Winfrey, top people in the world. Something that I learned from him, this is what I'll leave you guys with, is we're always in these like, the human brain is so easy to get caught up in some negative emotion, negative thoughts, negative emotions. Something that I learned from him is called breaking the emotional pattern. Because all that emotion is a pattern that you are probably having on an everyday basis. If you're feeling pissed off right now, or groggy or something, yeah, you might not have had lunch, you might have had, had a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, but it's most likely than not that you're feeling these emotions on a day-to-day basis. And basically, he taught me how to break them. Just like boom, snap, broken. Some of the easiest ways to do it is to use your body. Motion creates emotion, right? So the moment that I start doing this, right, and I go like, with my eyebrows, right? Oh, see? You guys feel it. It just gets transferred. I just created emotion by just moving. So even though I'm in my job and I'm sitting down, I'm like, fuck, I hate this job. Fucking hate this job. Right? I'm like smiling. He says like, it's probably because first of all, your posture is pretty bad. I'm like, fuck, that is true. You're probably not smiling, and you're probably breathing shallow. So I'm like, here's my fucking job. Right? So everything is completely out of alignment. So how do you get good emotions? You have to align with them. So he's like, okay, put your back straight, breathe deeply, and now grin like a dumbass. Right? Boom, emotional pattern broken. And you feel good now. I've started doing that every day that I feel bad. I'm like, yes. Right? Remembering a positive memory of anything. Right? The other day I went with her, we went to Tony Robbins. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
It was funny.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
Good.
Yeah.
So good. He actually he did a 1 hour, like completely new content that he hasn't even posted on his tour.
Oh,
He's
really?
doing like this pre-college tour, so that's pretty awesome. He's just so talented, like, and comedy artists, they are the masters of creating emotions. Like, boom, throw this thing, like, boom, it just make you feel things. Storytellers bring you up and down and up and down. You're like, oh, wow, it's so crazy. So when I remember that kind of stuff, right, I just feel good. I'm like, oh my God, like, you just remember that? And I'm like, how was Ultra? How was EDC? You're like, oh my God, immediately.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. You sort of like, you can change people's patterns immediately. You just see them and you're like, yo, how was the MCAT? They're like, oh, that didn't go so well. You're like, oh, no. I meant, how was the tennis match? And they're like, oh, the tennis match was good. And you just change their emotions immediately, right? You can see what triggers some people, right? That's when you compliment somebody. Most of the time they feel good. You're like, oh, nice shirt, Clayton. You're like, oh, thank you, right? You're leading them through a different emotional pattern. Self-amusement, right? I was in Miami one day with my friend, and his name is Juan. Juan, if you're watching. We were driving in the car, we were having fun, we were feeling a little woozy. And we park next to a car, and I look left, and they have really long hair, right? And you're just in like that really fun mood, and I'm like, yo, those guys are rock stars, rock stars. And then he looks at me, he's like, rock star, and we just start doing that. So every time I see him now, I'm like, mate, and we do it like an Australian accent, just for fun. I'm like, mate, you're a rock star. Don't let anybody tell you either way. You're a rock star. So we started growing our hair super long just because go with the rock star thing, right? So I'm sure you guys have some sort of inside joke with your friends that is just fucking hilarious.
The execution of yours, though, is like commendable.
It's what?
It's very like admirable. Like you took the inside joke and like you're applying.
Oh yeah, all the way.
Yeah, you're very committed to this.
To the rockstar joke. Yeah. Thank you. Ask an empowering question. You know, you just see your friend, you see him kind of moody. You're like, yo, so what a beautiful day. Like, what's good about your day? And maybe they're like, oh no, it's not going too well. You're like, but you know, what can I make it to be a better day? And they're like, oh, well, maybe we could get some Chipotle, right?
Hey.
Change it.
Everyone's
Oh.
Sounds good as fuck.
And the last one, did anybody catch what the last one was? Oh, singing, yeah. I love singing. I love singing in the shower. My roommates hate me. But I read this on a Facebook post. It's like, if you sing for 10 minutes a day, just because you're like exercising all these organs, your mouth, your ears, your brain, it's like a workout for your emotions. After doing that, you feel good. How do you feel after doing a speech like this? You feel good, right?
Yeah, feel good.
I'm not exactly sure why, the signs and whatnot, but just the fact that you're just talking and speaking and you just feel good. So with that, you know, just realize that you have the power to snap out of any stupid emotion you have by either changing your focus. You ask a question, you're like, oh, what's not perfect about this yet, right? That test that I flunked, what is that teaching me? I didn't study probably too hard. I was probably not putting in the hours for that, right? Get that focus, right? Motion, just smile, be like, you know, that was a tough day, but it's gonna get better. Sing, smile, call a friend, recall some positive memory. All these things will put you in a nice state. That's all for me. You guys have any questions? No? Awesome. Thank you.